Today, I'm at JTEKT, Taiwan, Takisawa, and for the very first time, they're letting cameras into this delicious building. Yes, I said the word delicious because you're gonna see some things you've never seen before, and yes, that's gonna wet your whistle. Suzette's waiting right inside to take us on a tour of some never before seen footage. So let's head inside because this is only weather for a duck. Well, my friends, we made it inside. I'm a little bit warmer and definitely happier. Every time I see Suzette, it makes me happier. But even more so than that, and no offense, Suzette, because I love your smile, is we're here for the first time ever.
I know.
Showing content that has never been seen before. Thank you for making this happen.
You're welcome. It's not very often that we can be at a trade show and be able to say, why don't you come to the factory?
Right?
Yeah, it's right around the corner, 30 minutes away. That's awesome.
And even when that can maybe happen, most people are still keeping their doors closed. And the fact that they're opening the doors here is so exciting. And I know what goes into this company that's over 100 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
In 1972 here in Taiwan, and changes are constantly going on, but knowing that there's such history and doors are being opened for us to take a look at, wow, how honored and humbled are we?
Yeah, exactly. Takisawa Machine Tools has a long history, and this subsidiary in Taiwan, like you said, opened up 52 years ago. Where it started and where it's come to is amazing. Yeah, you're gonna see some fun stuff today.
Well, let's stop teasing everyone who's watching right now and start this tour. I mean, I already see something that I personally love, and that's automation with a giant yellow robot. And look at all the different palette changes on the wall.
That's right. You know, Takisawa Taiwan has manufactured their own turrets from the beginning. And previously, they did it on their own VTL 750 series machines. Later on, they decided they needed a better way to do it. Instead of taking 7 days to make a turret, they wanted to take 6 hours. Instead of having 5 people to make a turret, they needed to do maybe 1 guy. So they invested right in the COVID area.
That was when the change started happening, was during COVID?
Yeah, you know, they had that little bit of downtime where they could invest in this MTDCNC FMS system along with their own robot integration. So this is all designed by Takisawa.
And look at how beautiful as well. Now, let's step back to what you just said. You said six hours from an entire week. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And also 5 or 6 employees down to 1?
Yes.
This is the automation conversations we have all the time when we're trying to sell stuff, right?
Well, that's exactly it. We use it in sales all the time, in the hows and the whys, the efficiency, the qualities, the repeatability. We're actually doing that. You know, we're doing what we speak about, what we preach every day to our customers.
You know, a lot of times I felt like my parents were do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
But here we're doing as we say and doing as we do, right?
And constantly taking those steps to do more and more and more. This FMS system was so successful, they decided to build a whole complete additional FMS system with 3 MTDCNC machines and some other VMCs in there to machine their turret housings, their spindle housings, any parts that go inside of their machine are all manufactured in that system.
Is that the giant cell that's just to the shoulder of our camera guy? Can we have him turn around and kind of, we're gonna come back to this area because this is significant.
I know.
But if our camera guy could kind of peek into that fenced area right over there, and Suzette, could you go into a little bit more detail? You mentioned 3 machines, I believe, MTDCNC as well, which is a family here.
Yes.
Also, and this is the growth and evolution of what we just looked at on the backside, right?
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. It is taking parts that Takisawa is manufacturing to go in their machines. They really are manufacturing most every part that goes into their machine, and they want to have that control over quality. And you'll see it here. You have their CMMs, and this is how they decided they were going to do it, and it's working fabulously.
Yeah, I love seeing the evolution like this.
Yeah.
I mean, we tell people to do it all the time, and to see it in action because we're putting our money where our mouth is, and it's so smart to do. So, all right. It's not the only time, but one of the times where I go forward and go backward because I have to show you this as well. Suzette, there's something we all need to get excited about here, isn't there?
Yes, it's so exciting. We have a new launch of of the JTEKT Taiwan Takisawa UX 2000 machine. And so we are debuting a B-axis machine here, and I am so excited. I am so very excited. Takisawa took a long time to make sure that they did it right. They didn't want to just make another machine out there in the field. They wanted to make sure that they had the best B-axis head that they can put on a JTEKT Taiwan Takisawa machine, because it has their name on it. They have to convey that quality, and they weren't going to stop here.
I think that's incredibly important to understand, because we, a lot of us sales guys, a lot of us people talking about machining like myself, we see the evolution of this done-in-one of complicated processes that used to take multiple machines. We saw the evolution of what machine shops desired.
Yes.
But to jump into it early would have been a mistake.
That's
to jump
right.
into it right.
That's right.
That's what JTEKT Taiwan Takisawa is doing.
You know, and they didn't just make a machine and say we're going to throw it in the market. They also said we're going to show you how to do it better. Here's an automated cell. We partnered with Shunk because we wanted to reduce that setup time, have a quick change system. We wanted to show how to get your parts efficiently, different parts in and out of that machine with your different work holding. And it's just a full system. It's a full solution. It's not just here's a machine, figure it out yourself. Good luck with all your new setup time.
I've seen that too many times,
Yeah.
and I love seeing this instead. This
is awesome.
This is and what I love about this is, for people watching right now, depending on if they're watching it years from now or maybe as soon as we release it, this is a release coming to the US, as both of you are from the US and around the world. But at the same time, what we're seeing is trial and error being proven in the factory before ever seeing the release out into the real world. I think that's important to understand as well.
That's exactly right. We do not want to just put a machine out there and hope for the very best. We want to put a machine out there, and we want you to know that it is going to be accurate. You're going to have repeatability. You're going to have quality. You're not going to have downtime, and that we're going to do this together. We're all making parts together.
All right, let's continue to walk, Suzette.
Yes.
During this walk, we're going to bump into some castings that we're going to talk about a little bit, but on this journey, I kind of want to bring back up that you say everything is vertically integrated in here. Everything is made in-house. It's obvious that I'm looking at
the turrets.
Some turrets here as well. And then on top of that, we're talking about Japanese quality, Japanese integration. I see these floors and these walkways. It seems very Japanese to me, but we're talking about maybe some Taiwanese expertise to go into it, and maybe some of those Taiwanese prices to go along with it.
Absolutely, and that is really what comes with taking a 100-year-old company and having a subsidiary here in Taiwan. You know, you have some of the best R&D people out here. You have all that Japanese integrity, like you're saying, and they're really doing it soup to nuts. It doesn't matter if we have a small casting for a 6-inch chucker or a 4-meter bed machine. We have a one complete casting that's very heavy being machined to spec right here in front of us.
Machine. But we're getting ready to move into the casting side now. A lot of times when we talk about castings, we'll talk about hand scraping, the importance of precision. I would say the weight is oftentimes involved to make sure it's nice and rugged and rigid. And I know that's important with these machines also, is to let people know you're a certain percentage heavier as a regular basis. You make sure that the vibration dampening is there. All that goes into your castings, right?
Yes, we're about 10% heavier than most machine tool builders for turning out there. Let me just stop for a second and remind you that JTEKT Taiwan Takisawa is only a turning company. That's all they are. So they are doing it the very best. They're not trying to be an HMC company or a VMC company and put it all together. They're just a turning company. So when they have their castings, they're heavy duty. They're taking their ball screw carriage and casting it in the machine. They're induction hardening their ways on these machines in the building across the way. Everything is being managed here underneath this roof.
I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad you stopped us both. We literally physically stopped. It was so important to say.
I know, it was.
Have you ever been to a restaurant and you see the menus about yay thick and you almost walk right back out because no restaurant can make all those components, all that food? It's exactly the same principle, right?
Why are there 100 things on a menu? I probably want to pick from 3.
Right.
Like, chill out.
So in this sense, in this world, we're doing the same thing. And as we walk, I see a slant bed right here. And something you brought up to me that I think is important to understand. A lot of slant beds out there are two different pieces, not here. Not what we're talking about here.
That one complete casting allows for the machine to thermally grow at the same time, which is what you want in a machine tool. You don't want a bolted on slide and it just is supposed to work out the way it's supposed to work out.
And since we're here,
yeah.
I love machines that are bigger than my house, and this is one of those.
Look at that hole down there.
This is a gift, right?
Yeah.
This is a gift to you guys.
Yeah, with the partnership of JTEKT and Taiwan Takisawa, JTEKT said, hey, listen, we want to give you a new bridge. Let's dig a hole and put it in.
We're building bridges, we're building relationships. This is how you connect the dots, right?
Exactly.
And these machines are so much fun to me. I remember learning just how much technology, insight, wisdom, experience goes into the ability to run a machine this size to the precision that's required across an entire bed. And something like that, I mean, I guess I'm a nerd when it comes to machining. I'm a machining
I know you're
nerd.
a nerd. I love that about you.
But it kind of gives me chills thinking about the engineering that goes into a machine like that.
Yeah, that's it. It's not just hoping for the best. It is a truly engineered turning center.
Yeah, and
whether horizontal or vertical.
And I like that you said it's not just hoping for the best, because
it's not just hoping
if I'm being honest, a lot of my machining days, I was hoping for the best because I had machines that weren't that. Let's put it that way.
There's too many machine tools out there where they're buying their turret from one guy, they're buying their spindle from another guy, they're buying this from somewhere else, and then they're assembling them, and then they want to have a quality talk. We don't do that. These machines, I go into customer shops across the United States, across North America. When I'm in Germany, these machines are sitting on people's floors for 35 years.
Yeah, that's another topic, because we're going to head this general direction here. And there's a spindle room, because we're going to talk about, you just mentioned, vertical integration of spindles. But let's talk about when you invest in one of these machines, how it's almost a generational investment for people out there who are sick and tired of spindle rebuilds and machine rebuilds every 3 years, 5 years. You're looking for machines that are going to last not just for this generation, but your next generation. Whether you're looking to grow your machine shop or sell your machine shop, the value stays with machines like this.
That's right. For the last 10 years that I've been working with JTEKT, I have replaced 0 spindles. I've received 0 noise for spindle problems. None of that has happened. I've replaced some belts. I've replaced some proc switches. I haven't even replaced a turret yet. You know what I mean? And there's been some big crashes out there. Let me tell you, I've seen some doozies. But it just goes to the quality of the machine tool.
You told me about one, Suzette, and I have to share this story.
Oh, it's a good one.
Where let's just say there was a couple of mistakes that were made, and the lesser durable areas of like the sheet metal and things like that were kind of torn apart, right?
Yes.
But the main components, the parts that make the components of the machine that make the parts, were still running accurate and true. What did they do?
They took car floor mats and they put them up around the sides of the machine where the part tried to rip through the sheet metal, and just put the car mats there and then kept on running. That's what they did.
When you have a machine that's solid and it's still running solid,
yeah, I know.
I think I'd do the same thing. Let's be honest.
I full confession, I went to that customer maybe like 6 months ago, check in, hey, how you doing? Car mats are still there.
That's amazing. All right, let's take a quick peek at the spindle room, because in my opinion, there's a lot of companies that I've seen that will utilize spindles from other places, and there's some great spindle companies out there, so I think it's important to say that. But when we can go to one source, we're going to one source for our turrets, we're going to one source for our spindles, we're going to one source for, everything within the machine. When we make a phone call to Suzette and JTEKT, you're going to make one call to your team and get all the answers you need. The spindles are another part of that.
That is, we offer different spindles for different applications. We're making sure that it is the right fit for the right customer. We offer, standard belt-driven spindles. We offer gearbox spindles for machines with chuck sizes 10 inches and above. So you're getting a lot of torque out of those machines. And then we have built-in spindle motors as well.
I heard 2 rumors I want to bring up to you, if that's okay.
Let's do it.
One rumor is on the back side over there's a spindle testing, and I believe it runs for about 17 hours of every single spindle before.
Yes.
Did I get that number correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And the second thing I heard was that with your spindles, Incanella's butter?
Yeah, I mean, for our gearbox spindles, it is butter. We don't have a problem with it, not us. We're built heavy duty, just butter. And I know, you're gonna say, what about aluminum? Oh, we've got a solution for that. I know you.
You know, I've done enough interviews where super alloys can be a real pain in the butt,
Yeah,
whether it's
for
from
sure.
cutting tools or the machining side or the
Yes.
software, whatever it might be, the programming. We don't often hear Inconel is butter.
We're not afraid of it. We're not afraid of it.
High nickel super alloys, they can get tough. All right, we have a lot of machines around us right now.
Yeah.
There's a completely separate building where we can see the giants
Yeah,
out there,
for
right?
sure.
Well, we're here. What are we looking at?
There's a new introduction of the JTEKT and Taiwan Takisawa machines. And so there's a new model, an NT2000. So we took our basic 8-inch chucker machine and we've given it some updates. We've given it some, new options inside of it. We've given it some new horsepower. We've given it a little bit of a facelift, and we gave it a name that really represents JTEKT and Taiwan Takisawa working together and being a new company.
I think when we go to trade shows and when we talk about what machines can do, we look about, that's kind of fun. We do look about. We look about some of the newest technology can do back to that integrated head we were talking about earlier and being able to do more inside that machine. But I gotta be honest, I've done a lot of machine shop tours and these things never die off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
these things are gonna be there. They repeat themselves. They do what they're supposed to do. And it's another
do.
one of those situations that just exist always.
Exactly.
All right, let's continue our walk because there's a testing lab I want to see.
Oh, yeah.
And if we're super, super lucky, and we're going to slide right through here, I believe.
Yes.
And if we're super, super lucky, we might get to see firsthand some of the hand scraping. And I kind of want to see that.
Yeah, for sure. We want to show you, because we're not afraid. Today, we're opening all
We're
the doors.
not afraid today.
We're opening all the doors and windows for you today. So this is the turret lab, so to speak. So this is where, after we saw those turret bodies being made, they come in here, they get their 2-piece curvic coupling, they get all of their parts and components and are assembled in their complete package and tested.
I think that testing part is the most important part to say, right? Because we know you're making them. We saw the great cells out there. You're making sure that are machined correctly, but then to go ahead and put it to the test and then make sure that everything is ready to go before it goes into the machine, that's it. That's not just an assembly process.
Right, that's a quality process.
That's a quality process.
That's definitely a quality process. And again, it just goes to speak.
All right, Suzette, now we've looked at the turret section here and I think we might get lucky enough to see some hand scraping, but along our walk and our journey, I would love to hear some of your stories working with this company over the years and what it's been like, because that creates that rapport with the audience going, I want that experience too, Suzette.
Yeah, it's not all fun and whiskey and singing and karaoke.
Well, then I'm out of here.
Come back. It's not all of that. It is really saying, hey, when we first started importing the machines, I needed the integrity of the inside to match the outside because they just looked like a standard Taiwanese machine. I said, we need them to be sexy. We need these windows to be big. We need to be able to look in. They're right on it. What do you think about this color? What do you think about this? I said, we need different machine tools to be competitive with some of, the bigger guys out there who are selling things that I want to sell. Mm-hmm. And it was like, hey, we're putting them in development. We put them in R&D. Come in and see it tested. And it is that collaboration of constantly having us in here. We're getting ready to ship 32 machines to a customer. Come on in and inspect them. Make sure that they're everything that you expect them to be for your customer, and let's go. And that's that kind of open partnership you want to have with the machine tool company.
Suzette, you are at this point very famous on the interweb. And I may have heard a similar story like this before.
Yeah.
I see how important it is to you to work with partners that allow you and them to adapt together, to take ideas, to grow with that, and to make sure that what's on the inside and the outside does represent
Yes.
each other. And I think that's part of your
Right.
character and
Yeah.
why people like working with you also is because you want good for them.
You know, when I first started working with JTEKT Taiwan Takisawa, they would tell me, oh, every time I'd come to the factory, they'd say, Suzette, I need new shoes because each time you come here, you always chase me. You always chase me for more. And I thought, isn't that the American way?
What a
You gotta-
wonderful way to move
I mean, thank
right
you.
into hand scraping. I love it. So this is the final stop on our tour here today,
Yeah.
and we have to show a little bit of hand scraping, right? I mean, look at those moves. That's better than my Shakira hips for sure.
Yeah, we're talking about really hand scraping here. And I was explaining earlier that even if it's our VTLs and we're putting our column onto our machine base, we're taking off that column and we're scraping where we need to. We're putting it back on, taking it off. This is the quality here. And this is what you get with Takisawa. And this is why machine tools last for 30 years.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Suzette.
Yeah.
You, my friends, are truly an inspiration. I
Thank you.
appreciate everything you do. Thank you for helping us get these cameras
You're
in here
welcome.
for the audience.
Thank you for
know,
coming.
As much as everyone in the whole world would love to visit Taiwan and be here firsthand,
Yeah.
they're not going to have that opportunity. So for you
Yeah.
and Joshua and the rest of the team to open up the doors and allow us to film here, we thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching. Like I always say, if you spent your time with us today, time is the one thing we cannot manufacture more of, and we appreciate you sharing it with us.
Yeah, thank you.